Welcome, friends, to Crazy Women Country, where women's voices matter. We bring you the greatest female voices in the music industry, from the artists, songwriters, and producers, to managers and executives, and all the women who make the music industry what it is today. Thank you for joining us. Welcome, friends, to another episode of Crazy Women Country. Today, we have the amazing, talented, lovely Miss Tiffany Woys with us. How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you guys?
Doing good. Doing
Awesome.
good.
Good.
We're alive and kicking, which is always a good thing.
That's all you can ask for.
We're still breathing. Yes.
I think that's the highlight of everyone's day. We're still breathing. And, I know Paula's cold over there in Spain. I'm medium warm. And I guess, is Nashville getting cold snap right now?
It's pretty cold, yeah. And we've had a little bit of rain too, which is on top of it all. And I'm throwing a big Christmas party this weekend, and I was like, and now it's calling for rain, and I go, no, I can't have that. So I'm a little stressed.
We don't do rain. Don't like rain.
Well,
We've had rain today as well, I must admit.
Hopefully it'll avoid. I'll try to send good wishes out into the world.
Let's all just send it up.
I love it. Okay, so the first question, which is probably the hardest question you're ever going to have to answer. You ready for this one? You ready for
I don't know.
Okay, who is Tiffany?
Oh, that actually is a hard question, though. You know what I mean? Because we're asked that all the time as artists, like basically give us an elevator pitch, who you are in 30 seconds. It's like, that's crazy. I think I'm pretty not that complex. I'm a really lively, upbeat person. So I guess when I release like ballads and stuff, it's really hard to connect on that end with me because that's just not who I am. I'm really positive. I'm really, always looking at the bright side of things, which could be annoying, I guess, sometimes to a lot of people because it's okay to vent and be upset sometimes. Yeah. But I really do try to always look at the bright side. I'm a problem solver. Like I said, I'm energetic. I bring that to, I think, most scenarios. And I think that it's starting to reflect now in my music more and more, especially since now that I'm writing it myself. And I wasn't doing that before. So I think that's what a huge disconnect of who Tiffany was in my first all my music that I was releasing when I first came to Nashville about 8 years ago to now, flash forward now, I really think you're getting more of a better concept of who Tiffany is through her music and through my personality because I'm actually writing it now.
Yeah. That's awesome. I must admit, you can feel your energy here. You know what I mean? You can feel the energy through the screen. You know what I mean? It's awesome.
Yeah, I know, and now you said that, it's funny because like I have some people that I co-write with over Zoom, and they can do it over Zoom, they can do it in a room, whichever they prefer, they'll do both. And there's some people that are like, no, we can only feel the energy in the room, and I'm like, no, you can feel it in Zoom. At least I can. I don't know about other people, but
no, I do a lot of my writes actually over Zoom, and because it was scheduling in general with everybody here. It's very difficult to get everybody in the room together at the same time. Of course, I enjoy feeding off people's energy in an actual room with you, but I think it can be done anywhere.
Yeah,
exactly. We need more of your positive energy everywhere. That's good. That's good stuff. That's all good stuff.
We need to bottle that. We can make a fortune if we bottled that energy.
I like to think that when something bad is happening too, which I've gone through plenty of it, and that's reflected in my music too, that I do a really good job at not making it anybody else's problem, and that I will say I do a lot of self, within when it comes to healing or whatever I'm doing. And so most people don't even know I'm going through something. Most of my friends say that they know something's up if I've gone kind of radio silent for a little bit because I'm just figuring it out, and then I'll come back when I'm ready.
Yeah.
I think
I was gonna say sometimes that personal time makes it.
Yeah. The older I've gotten, I've really enjoyed more personal time. I think I used to be such an extrovert, and I think it really did wear on me after a while where my cup does, run empty. And the only way for me to get it back is kind of to actually be alone for a little bit. I think because I am known as the energetic one and the one that, is always the one kind of bringing up topics or conversation. I think people look to me for that a lot in social situations. And sometimes I don't want to be that person, right? I want to be the person that gets to sit back and say nothing while somebody else carries it. So it is kind of exhausting sometimes when you kind of get that reputation of that you're branded as that person, because after a while it does wear on you a bit.
It does. I can imagine. Definitely. Definitely.
So tell us, over the last year, what is your most memorable moment on a professional scale?
Professional scale. I think it was within the year. It has to be. So not to be a downer, but People Magazine was going to cover my wedding when I was engaged, and it was all planned and ready to go. And we were going to get an exclusive, which is really big for an artist. It's really cool to know that your wedding is going to be featured in People Magazine. It was super exciting. Well, when all that fell through, People Magazine, and even though this is kind of, I guess, dark and interesting, instead of them covering the wedding, they covered the breakup, which was really, and then the song that came with it. And I thought that was really awesome of them to still want to be able to collaborate with me in some way, and kind of almost a redemption healing conversation in an interview. And I thought that was really exciting. I was, even though it was kind of a bright light in a dark room. And it was really, really nice to see it written with people, and they just handled it with such grace and such care. And I thought that for professionally, that was a very exciting moment to have anything featured in People. I think that's like, that's kind of a big deal, at least for me. It's been actually a big milestone for me.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
And that's
And it's
awesome.
great that the press has dealt with it in a good way, because I mean, I know the press is not perfect and they do get slammed a lot for, misreporting things, but it's good when they do the job in a way that's sensitive and kind to the people that are involved in everything.
Absolutely. And I would say another big thing is just doing my podcast as well. I know off screen we were talking about podcasts, and this has been a really rewarding, like a self-rewarding thing professionally, because I didn't know if I was even going to be necessarily good at it. I wasn't sure, and I'm still kind of figuring it out as I go. But I will say it's been really, really rewarding professionally to be on the other side of an interview and getting to know the songwriting community on a much deeper level. That's been something that I have been super proud of, and I hope that it continues to kind of push forward for years to come. I really do.
Sounds awesome.
Absolutely. It's great for those of us who may be outside of the area, so to speak, and listening for songwriters. It's always a good positive reinforcement of, it's never going to be that one song. Like, I hate to say it that way, but as a writer, I know this. You can submit songs all day long. If they're good, it's going to be that one song that someone's like, oh, I like that. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter who you know. It's actually really about the song 99% of the time. So
it all starts with a song. I mean, and the best song always wins, like you just have to think like that. And that's been something that I've been trying to reinforce within the podcast, is that without the songwriting community, and I don't even necessarily consider myself to be necessarily a part of it yet. I consider myself a co-writer, not a songwriter, because I'm still learning. And I don't think I could do it alone. So without the songwriting community, I don't really think we have a genre. I don't think we have the music industry, and I don't think enough credit is given to songwriters. And I think we like to wave the white flag a lot for them on Instagram or on X or on places we like to say stuff, but then there's not a lot being shown to actually help the community. And that has always bugged me a lot, because we're really quick to use our mouths to say something, but then where's the action, the call to action? On it. And so that was something that I really, really wanted to focus on, because no one gives them the microphone to talk. We're so, I get it. We're so busy talking to the artist, which is really exciting. And it's probably a lot more exciting for a listener to hear an artist talk than it is the songwriter, because those are pretty much, they're normal people living their everyday lives that are writing their everyday stories. But that is the special part, because that's what makes you connect to music. It's because you're living an everyday, life, and they are telling your everyday story. That's why music is so universal.
Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely. And now that you said that, we try to do that, diversify. We've opened the doors here to executives, any females in the music industry, basically.
Cool.
Even non-country. Like the goal is to promote women, is really the bottom line. Of course, countries are our basis, but yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, as you said, without the songwriters, we wouldn't have the songs. And it's, of course, we always go to the artists because they're the face of the song.
Sure.
We forget who's behind it, who's the one putting all the hard work in it, who's the one that's put everything together. The artist is just the person who brings it to the public.
Yeah, I mean, I always kind
Yeah.
of like to consider, even though there's a lot of artists that I know also write their own music, I'm not
Mm.
discrediting that
Oh
there's
no.
ones that actually do that,
Yeah.
but there is a large chunk that don't as well. And I like to compare it to almost like an actor or an actress receiving a script for a movie, and our job is to deliver it, to make you feel
Yeah.
something. That's our job, and to connect with it so that you can connect with it. That's really ultimately, and I think that's just as powerful as if someone who writes it, because actually, quite honestly, it's a little harder because they're not your words. So for you to be able to deliver someone else's words and someone else's story as authentically as if you were to have written it, that's kind of tricky.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Absolutely. So tell us, who are some of the women that inspire you?
So number one will always be Celine Dion. It was that was my mom's like first, like that was my really introduction to music was Celine Dion, and she will always be. And actually, after watching everything that she's been through the last few years too, after seeing that documentary, I mean, we knew that something was going on, but I didn't know how bad it actually was, and it just had me even more respect for her as not only an artist, but as just a woman, like as just wow, as a mother, as a friend, as a woman, as an artist. I mean, it mind boggles me. When it comes to country music, it's always been LeAnn Rimes. And it was when I heard her sing the national anthem for the first time of all songs, and it was on a cassette tape, and that was the first song I ever really learned to sing fully 100% on my own, and I started singing it everywhere. So definitely Celine Dion and LeAnn Rimes are my two biggest inspirations. And if we're talking personally, in the sense of, I will always say my mom. She's been so supportive of me in this whole journey. And sometimes it can come off a little, my mom has no filter, just like I don't. So, I mean, she's been at almost every show that I had when I was on the road, and be there till like the 2 a.m. shows where you're at the bar. And sometimes, yeah, I get off stage. She goes, that second set wasn't your best. And it's funny because a lot of people will look at that and go, she needs to calm down. But I would always be like, it's 1 a.m, Mom. Like, well, of course it's probably not my best, but she really did mean well. And she has always stuck behind me behind this, even though it's been rough. There's been a lot of commitment to this, whether it's financially or time wise, emotionally, and she has never quit on me. She's always believed in me as well. And you can't ask for anything better than that out of a support system.
Absolutely. And I think your mom gave that kind of like constructive criticism is I hate to say it's like the industry.
She has no problem doing that.
I think we always need it though, don't we? Because I think nothing wrong with fans, but fans will always say you're amazing. No matter what. It could be the worst show in the world, but you're still the most, you know what I mean? And it's always good to have that person behind you saying, you did miss that note, or you did do that wrong, or so it keeps you grounded the whole way through it, you know what I mean? Just to keep you honest and everything else. There's nothing wrong with fans, but we do get blinded, and
No, absolutely. And I will say her sometimes harshness for certain things, which is totally fine because that's our dynamic with each other anyway. So I'm used to it. But I think it also helped me prepare for having a little bit more thick skin for when it comes to online comments or things that people have to say, because I'm like, okay, like, that's okay. First of all, what you do isn't going to be for everybody. And you have to know that. Hopefully, that it's going to hit for more people than it does less people, because that's the point. You kind of have to gain a majority to be in this business, but there's always going to be a minority that does not like you. That will always be the case. I mean, music is so subjective, and you just cannot expect that your music is going to land with everybody, especially even within your own genre. That's the thing. It's like, just because you like country music doesn't mean you're going to like Tiffany Woys, and that's okay.
Yeah, definitely. I love that.
Yeah. That just makes it straight up like, I mean, there's always gonna be haters. There's always gonna be people that don't. Yeah,
absolutely.
It's life. And no, I agree with you that having that thicker skin is good in everything, not just, I think it just gives you a good perception in life. I really do. I mean, I grew up the same way, and having thick skin and not really not caring what people say about it. I don't care. You don't like me, whatever. Nice to meet you. Have a great day. If we have to work together, let's just pretend we like each other while we're working together, okay? And then
I think the faster you gain that perspective, the easier life is in general. Of course, sometimes, I mean, we're human. We can only take so much, and certain things will eventually start to get to you. And sometimes it's subconsciously. Like, I don't even realize it, that somebody's maybe commented on, like, I don't know, my eyebrows so many times, and then after a while, I start thinking something, but I'm not tying it into comments that I've read. It's just I'm starting to think it, and I don't realize that started happening subconsciously. So I think the better that you can just avoid being around the negativity, the better. And also, when you get the perspective of it just doesn't matter, they don't know you, the better.
Yeah,
definitely. Talking about your podcast, who's been your favorite guest so far?
Gosh, that's really hard. I have had so many, but one, I will say, two have really stood out, and they were actually in season one. One was Jeffrey Steele, and Jeffrey Steele is a songwriter who's written on basically all of Rascal Flatts' catalog. What Hurts the Most, These Days, My Wish. I mean, it genuinely probably one of the most, I'm trying to figure out the word for him, because he, like, in the best way, I feel like he was on another planet. Like, and it was genius. And I go, how does, like, I don't know. And we sat and talked for almost 4 hours, and he just wanted to keep going. And I was really new to the podcast game. So I was like, oh my gosh, do I stop him? Do I let him go? What do I do? And I had all these questions prepared, and he made me better at my job, which was crazy because he went off script from me so much. He went off around to different areas, and it made me have to leave my safety zone, which was my little, all my questions. It made me have to sit there and, like, pay attention to him and just have a natural conversation, which wasn't my plan because I was so new to this. And by the way, people who are listening, my podcast is about interviewing songwriters in Nashville. And I will say he made me just so much better. And also talking to basically one of my heroes, because Rascal Flatts is a huge reason why I chose country music in general. Gary LeVox is probably one of the better vocalists. He's like an alien as well. I mean, it's crazy. And a lot of their songs mean a lot to me, you know, and My Wish is something that I sang for a graduation song. And then to hear that song was written for his daughter. I mean, there were just so many things that I never realized I would learn sitting down with these people. Another group of people that I absolutely adored was the Warren brothers, and they write a lot for Tim McGraw. They wrote Red Solo Cup for Toby Keith. They've done a lot. I think they were co-writers on The Highway Don't Care with Tim McGraw, Taylor Swift. And they're just funny, like, and they're perfect for entertainment wise to be a guest. I mean, they are just like pinging off of each other, laughing. They have really big personalities. So I will say those two probably have stood out to me the most. And it's funny because they were both in season one, and I've had so many since then that have been absolutely incredible. But I will say they were a league of their own in their own world.
That's very cool.
So let's talk about some of your recent releases. I'm going to actually bring up American Dreamer first, because as soon as I heard that, I was like, this is just a perfect song for the world. Like, I just felt like everyone needed it to hear it. Like, it was just about kindness. And so tell us a little bit about that song in general.
Thank you. So I have, for a while, I have wanted to write a patriotic song, but arguably I was really nervous to do it in my industry because people naturally just take sides. They think things. It's a really touchy subject for some reason. To be proud of your country, it's touchy right now. So I was at a writer's retreat with 3 of my friends and co-writers, and I was like, this was actually really recent too. It was just this last July. Like, we wrote it fast and got into the studio fast because I did want it I wanted it to come out before the election. And I was like, I just feel really called to do this. Like, this is something that women, first of all, a female artist is not doing. Men are doing it, but females are not touching this subject. And I don't know why a vocalist isn't wanting to, in country music, wanting to sing that they're proud to be an American. Like, what's wrong with that? And I was like, and you just sit here and you turn on the news and it's just awful. All of it's bad, no matter what side of the lane you're on. And I just wanted to say something that was unifying, something that just said that we're all in this together, in a sense. We're not actually this divided. I think that we think we're this divided, but we're not actually this divided. And when we went to go release the song, I wanted to make sure I released a statement with it because I didn't want the song to be taken out of context in certain, I mean, there's plenty of ways, and trust me, it already did. There are plenty of people that already had a feeling about it. And I knew that was going to happen. I knew what I was doing was decently controversial. I don't know why it's controversial, but of course I knew it was going to be. That wasn't a shot. But with the release, the statement, I said, this song isn't red or blue, it's red, white, and blue. Mm-hmm. And that was kind of the main focus of that, is that I really wanted to get across. This wasn't about being Republican or Democrat. This wasn't about Trump or Kamala or Biden. This wasn't about either. It was about just being American and being proud and knowing that the sacrifices that others have made for us to live in a country where people want to be here. Mm-hmm. And so that's really that was where my heart was when I wrote this song. And I know it's taken on a thing of its own. I've had radio stations say they won't play it when they've supported other things before. And so it just shows you where we still are, and we have a lot of work to do, because the fact that those lyrics, I was really conscious about what I said in this song and what we wrote, that I think that no matter where you laid, you would have liked the song, you know what I mean? And, or you would have at least agreed with the lyrics, hopefully. And to see that people were still not wanting to support it on some level, and radio stations that support me consistently, and they said, hey, we really like the song, but we can't play this. And I was like, again, I wasn't shocked, but it was disappointing. And I'm not going to lie to you, it was disappointing, but I'm really proud of it. I'm really proud of what it's done. I'm really proud of the audiences it's reached. I'm proud of the people that have I'm proud of my co-writers. I think we did something really, I would hate to say brave, because I didn't think it was brave, but I guess to some people it was. And I'm just glad that we put our faith over fear and decided to say something that was much bigger than us. Like, for me, this has been the most influential, important song I've released to date, because it's not a breakup song. It's not a drinking song. It's not a love song. It's something the message is so much bigger than I can ever be as an artist.
Mm. Yeah, that's exactly the first time I heard it. I was like, it's unifying. It's unifying. It's not one way or the other. And that's exactly how I felt. And it's like, to hear that radio stations are banning it, I'm going to laugh a little and say, well, you realize how many Dolly and Loretta songs they banned? Like, there are songs that they still won't play to this day. So,
I mean, and I think what happened was, not even what happened was, there is one line in the song that, of course, some people are going to take into what side they want, and it's in the second verse, and it's about backing the boys and girls in blue. And here's the thing, we all know there's controversy when it comes to law enforcement, and there has been for years. But I also believe there are bad apples in every bunch. It doesn't mean everyone is bad.
Ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And we still need law enforcement. And those people, I don't have the guts to put on that uniform and to go out and to potentially know I might not be coming home that day. Like, someone's got to do that job. And so the fact that those men and women have the guts and the bravery and the courage to be able to sign up for a job that they know they might not survive. Listen, we got to be able to separate the bad ones from the good ones. And I will say, I truly believe there's far more good than there is bad.
Yeah.
And that's not to say that we shouldn't get rid of the bad. For sure. Clean house. Get rid of those suckers. We don't need them. But the good, they deserve to be saluted. They deserve to be recognized.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Definitely. That's the problem, doesn't it? Good. It takes one bad apple to taint a whole crate, and that's the problem.
It is.
One bad person.
It always gets more attention, right? Like, the good never gets attention. The bad gets a lot of attention.
Yeah.
And, and I'm kind of sick of that. I would like to see some spotlights on some good, so that we don't always feel weighed down by the negative. Because, like, we can hear one bad thing and we're like, oh, it's all bad. It's all bad. And it's just so not true,
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. And you were saying every industry has it. I mean, you have law enforcement, you have physicians, you have nurses,
Yep.
you have every area has good and bad people. I mean,
Definitely.
There will always be evil in the world, right? We're never going to be able to rid all of it as much as we want that. I would want that. It will always exist. So we just have to do our best to, obviously, get through the bad and be able to do what we need to do, but then celebrate the good, because that's it. I genuinely, like I said, I believe there's more good in this world than there is bad. It's just unfortunate that, like what we say, some evil will always just kind of seem bigger than everything.
The bad always comes out on top for some reason, and it's like, but why? You know,
Right.
there's normally 10 good things to one bad thing, but all we ever hear about is that bad thing.
Yep.
So yeah,
it's kind of like when I first moved to Florida, we had a news station, and I always joke about this, and I say they're the happy news station because you never hear about there's a car crash, someone got killed or something. Like, you don't hear about that. Like, there was a car crash, and that's all they say. And I'm like, okay, well, do you like to tell us anything about it? Like, I mean, is everyone okay?
Yeah.
Or did they at least tell us something, right? Like, but yeah, it was just always like roses, and I'm like, okay, you gotta maybe do a little reporting, maybe just a little, like, you don't have to be negative about it, but you know.
Yeah.
People still want to know what's going on.
Yeah, that's it. It was just funny. So
it's cool. I like that. We need a happy station.
absolutely. Oh, it has been a pleasure having you on, Miss Tiffany, and you are welcome back anytime.
Definitely. We have some great conversations here.
Thank you.
Oh my
I
God,
had such a great time.
It's been a pleasure. And friends, make sure you go check out the links below. Follow Tiffany. Go check out her podcast. It's actually really awesome. Even if you're not a songwriter, it's really cool to go behind the scenes, so to speak. Because I know I've listened to quite a few episodes, so go check that out as well. And we will see you here for 20 Crazy Questions with Miss Tiffany coming up soon.
Yay!
If you enjoyed today's episode of Crazy Women Country, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Be sure to click the subscribe button for new interviews weekly. And thank you, friends, for joining us today on Crazy Women Country, where women's voices matter.